What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the common misconception that I feel like be knocking people off their path to success, okay? Be knocking them straight off. And I'm one of them. Just please know that anytime I make content, it's something I dealt with, am dealing with, and completely understand. All of my content is relatable to me. Okay, motivation for years have stopped me from accomplishing my goal. I know you're like, what? How? And so let's go into it. So let's just be real about one thing. This is like the key that I really want you to understand and get from this entire message is that motivation is a luxury. Okay, it's great if you have it. It's great if you feel it. It's great if that is what you're experiencing. You're motivated. You're fired up. That's fantastic. Do not take that for granted. Okay, it is a luxury though. It is not always a given. That feeling of motivation, it comes and it goes. It is not something that typically will stay with you. We can't always rely on it to be there when we need it the most. Let's be real. Some days you're going to wake up and you're going to feel like conquering the world. Yes, my vision is clear. I know what I'm doing. Everything is good and great. And then other days you're going to wake up and you would rather stay in bed. And that's what you're motivated to do. And if you literally act purely on motivation and motivation alone, guess what you're going to do? You're going to stay in bed, right? Like the days you're not motivated, you're not going to move. And that's when it really becomes a problem. And this is why it is so important to understand that motivation is truly a luxury. It is not a given, right? Let's just think about it. How many times have you started a new project, a new goal, set a new goal for yourself? You're feeling on top of the world. You see that your motivation, and then you see that your motivation starts fading like a few days later, maybe a few weeks later, maybe a few months later. Then that just stops you in your tracks. That just stops you from doing everything you wanted to do. Right now you're off course and you're like, dang, like it's kind of like that New Year's resolution, right? You set it and you're like, yes, this is what I'm gonna do this year. I'm gonna start this business this year. And you're fired up in the beginning. And then all of a sudden it just like the motivation to do it leaves. All right. And it's different circumstances that can play into why it's leaving, but it leaves. And I love to compare motivation to like that flaky friend, right? Like that friend who every time you need them, let's just say you're moving and you're like, yo, you help me move. And they're like, yeah, I help you move. And then on moving day, they just flake. They ghost you. You don't hear from them. They don't answer your text messages. They don't answer your calls. Like that is motivation. Okay. That is what I compare it to because they're down until it's time to be down. Okay. And then it's gone. And you're like, what? I was on fire. And now that it's time to implement the plan, my motivation is gone all of a sudden. This is why I really believe that you just can't depend on it. It is so not reliable. Once again, when you have it, great, use it. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, obviously, but I'm saying we can't rely solely on it. When that flaky friend comes around, that's when discipline comes in, right? Discipline is so much more powerful and so much more important in your life than motivation will ever be, okay? Discipline is like that ride or die friend. It's that friend who coming through no matter what, okay? She pulling up. That's that friend, right? Discipline is there, right? As long as you want it. Discipline's about creating habits and routines for yourself, okay? It's the thing that keeps you moving even when you don't feel like moving, right? It's the thing that gets you out of the bed even when you don't feel like getting out of the bed. This morning, I didn't feel like getting out of the bed, okay? Like, I was knocked out. I was tired because my daughter had a party last night and she didn't want to sleep. And so I was so tired, okay? All I wanted to do was sleep. I definitely didn't want to go on no hike, but I ended up going hiking, okay? And I woke up early, regardless. Tired, not tired. My body knows too because I've created habits. That is like the key to discipline is creating routine, creating habits, teaching your body, teaching your framework what to do. And then it'll start acting on its own. And then it becomes second nature, right? Like you'll notice like, okay, if you start waking up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning, right? You do that for a normal period of time. Let's just say you say, hey, I'm sleeping in today. Let's just say you do that for a good month, 2 months. And you're like, today I'm sleeping in. your body will naturally wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., right? It's gonna wake up at the time you taught it to wake up. And this is the same thing for any habits. If you teach your body and your mind how to do something, it's gonna be like, girl, why you ain't doing it? What's wrong with you, right? It's gonna fight against it. And that's where that discipline comes in. When you are used to like grinding, let's just say you're used to working out. Like, okay, you got this scheduling, you work out all the time. You're used to that. On days where I take breaks, I feel more tired. My body feels like sluggish on the days where I don't work out. And I think it really has to do with I taught my body, right? I've created a routine and a habit, and my body is used to it. So when it doesn't have it, it's like, what are you doing to me, right? And it's the same thing for anything in life, right? You teach your body, your mind, these habits and these routines, and it'll start to pick it up, right? And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline will take over when motivation is not working, when motivation is not there. The key to discipline is really just staying consistent, right? You stay consistent until it becomes second nature. You stay consistent. You just do not give up or stop no matter what. Okay, so I want to kind of go more into depth about this. Okay, so let's break this down for a minute. When you set a goal, okay, when I set a goal, the reality of it is we're mainly excited about the result, right? That's what we're excited about. We're like, yes, YouTube, I'm about to get these subscribers. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about that end result. But what we never, I feel like, at least me, okay, I'm just gonna speak for me, okay? I don't take into account the process, right? How boring it could be at times, or how forced it can feel at times, or how, oh my gosh, like I put all this effort and energy into making this video and it got like 5 views, right? Like, right, the repetitive nature of it, the sense of like, am I doing a good job? Like all these different feelings and emotions. We don't take the rocky road into account when we are excited about our end goal, right? We just have this end goal in mind, right? That's what excites us about our goals. We're like, yes, I want to build a business, and you can just picture it. You can taste it. You can see the 6-figure business. You know how to do it. You know the steps to take. You know how to do it. And you're excited about that, right? You're excited about that end result. That is the thing that makes you feel motivated, is that end result. And what happens along the way is the road is rocky. It's not linear. It's not straight. It doesn't look as clean and crisp and cut as you thought it would possibly look. And maybe you did expect it to be a little hard, of course, right? Like, you're not naive to it. Maybe you did expect it to be a little hard, but you didn't expect it to look like this or take this long. But whatever the case may be, motivation will fleet and it'll go away and fade away. And this is because we don't take into account, once again, that everyday living in it, that everyday pursuing it, that everyday process. But this is where discipline is your secret weapon, right? This is where discipline is a secret weapon, because when it becomes mundane and becomes boring and you're like, what the heck, I don't want to do this right now. Like, I just want to do something else. Like, I want to focus on something else. I know for me personally, it is hard at times for me to stay focused on one thing. Like, I'll be all over the place. I have like 5 different visions going on. I'm like, okay, well, this one isn't working fast enough, so let me go to this one. This one isn't going fast enough, let me go to this one. And the reality of it is what's going to get me to my goal isn't that, oh my gosh, I'm not motivated to do this today, I'm going to go do this one. Like, like what's going to get me to my goal is that consistent grind, that, hey, no matter what, I'm showing up. No matter who views it, I'm showing up. No matter who sees it, I'm showing up. No matter how many clients I have at this very moment, I'm showing up. I'm going to show up and show up and show up and show up, because at the end of the day, like, that is what's going to give me results. Showing up is going to get me results. And let me just say, I'm speaking to me, okay? I am speaking to me right now. Like, I took a huge break again from YouTube just because life was happening, life was lifing, but also because I just felt like it wasn't going fast enough. Like, I felt like no one's hearing me. Am I actually helping people? Am I actually doing anything online? Like, am I influencing and encouraging people in the way that I want to? Like, am I being heard? I had all these different questions in my head, and once again, it was one of those moments where I didn't anticipate the long game, right? Of course I did. In a sense, I did, right? Like, I had an idea that it will take time, of course. But just the idea of like, is it working? Just the question in my head constantly asking, like, is this working? Am I helping anybody, right? Like, and I think just being able to say, you know what, regardless, even if I'm just helping one person, even if just one person views my video, hopefully they got something from it. And being able to just show up regardless, show up anyway, post anyway, post no matter how many views you get, show up no matter how many clients you have. And eventually, trust me, your hard work will pay off. It is just a given fact. You cannot be on this platform. You cannot have a business that you show up for and you put all your effort into and nothing comes of it. Something will. And what I love is that losses to me aren't losses, they're lessons. So even if you feel like, you know what, in this season, this was a loss. No, baby, this was a lesson. And this setback is just making you stronger for that comeback that you're about to have. So take that and use it, okay? Use the fire that you just got from what you're calling a loss, which is really a lesson. My thing is I think a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I failed. You know, I had this plan and I had this vision and it failed. And my thing is, it's like, no, but wait a minute, it didn't fail. You learned something valuable to apply to your next step, your next stage, your next adventure, right? Like you just learned something from this. That is precious. And so I'm just saying, like, diamonds were not made being rubbed on, okay, being petted and hugged and cuddled, okay? They were made in pressure, okay? So I just want to say that because I'm sorry, I feel like that was a side note, but still. Discipline, I just also want to talk about, let's get back on track to discipline. So discipline is also about resilience, okay? And this is kind of what I was just talking about right now, actually. I guess I wasn't sidetracked, okay. Bouncing back from setbacks. You have to be able to bounce back from setbacks. Okay, at the end of the day, setbacks will happen. Things will not always go your way. Once again, success is not linear. It's just not. It's messy. Success sometimes looks like this, right? My biggest tip for this one when it comes to resilience is not letting your bad day turn into a bad week, and then your bad week turn into a bad month, and your bad month turn into a bad year. I think so many times we do that. I know, I've definitely seen it in my personal life. I remember when I first started my fitness journey, I had to really understand my relationship with food because I would let one bad meal turn into a bad eating day, and then my bad eating day would turn into bad eating days, and by a week I've eaten junk food all week because I keep giving myself excuses, right? Like one cheat meal turned into a whole cheat day, like, because it's like, oh, I did it already, so guess I'll start over tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you're like, oh, it's Wednesday. Who starts eating healthy on a Wednesday? Like, let's pick this back up on Monday. So at the end of the day, I've seen it happen so many times where we just let one thing throw us off track, or at least me anyway. I'm always going to be speaking to me, okay? I hope I'm relating to somebody out there, but I know for a fact I'm speaking to me. Let one thing throw you off track, and you can't come back from it, but you can. You don't have to let one bad day turn into a bad week. Okay, you just have to be able to say, okay, tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow is a new day. I'm going to step forward tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to make different decisions tomorrow. I'm going to make different choices tomorrow. And even if tomorrow doesn't work out as planned, I'm going to continue to work on it. I'm going to continue to work at it. I'm not giving up, right? Like, there is no give up. There is no failure in this right now. Failure is me not trying. Failure is me not taking the steps I need to go forward. That's failure. Failure is stopping right here. It's all about really changing your mindset and how you hear these things and how you see these things. I know for me personally, like, it took me a long time to rework some of the things that was in my head, right? Some of the lies I was telling myself, some of the negative things that I told myself on a regular basis. I had to like really rework what was happening and what was being told, what I was telling myself. At the end of the day, like, it's the opportunity for me to learn. Once again, like I mentioned before, if it's not working out as you had planned, what lesson are we learning? What opportunity are you getting from this? Trust me, there is something. There is something. When you start changing and rearranging little words like I have to I get to, honey, you will see the biggest difference. Oh my gosh, because I know I've seen the biggest difference in just life just by being able to rearrange my mindset, take it from opportunity, going to opportunity versus reason for me to throw in a towel. This is the reason for me to quit. This is why this isn't working. I'm gonna tell y'all a story, okay? Today I went on a hike. It was the hardest hike of my life. I'm sorry. I'm not like a hiker. I'm getting into hiking. This is a new thing for me. And I cried. I cried my eyes out, okay? It was like a 3-hour hike. It was hot as fish grease out there. And I was tired. I forgot my water bottle, okay? And it was just, it was a hot mess, okay? And it was hard. It was a very steep hike. And I kept slipping. And it was just all bad. And every part of me wanted to give up on that thing. Every part. But I was like, dude, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. And when I left, I had, I was in my feelings a little bit because I was like, dang, this was hard. This was hard. And I had to like really recover. It took me a couple hours to come in the house and recover from that because it was like a really, really hard hike. And I work out. I go to the gym, but it was a really hard hike. But the one thing that I thought about is like, okay, this is the opportunity for me to learn. There are some things that I can do differently next time. And when I told myself that, I was sitting there thinking, wow, okay, so there'll be a next time. You'll try this again, right? And after how hard this thing was, the old me would have said, never. I'll never try this again. And today I was like, you know what? I would try this again. I would. But next time I'll be more prepared. Next time I'll have the right shoes. Next time I'm definitely not going to forget my water. Next time we're going to go earlier because it's not hot as fish grease. Right? And I had these things where I'm like, you know what? It's all about taking what you view as losses or failures or not, where you're viewing as not success, taking that as an opportunity to learn something, taking that as an opportunity. I think failure would be not doing, giving in, throwing in the towel, saying I'm done. That is failure. But failure does not look like I didn't hit my goal today. That's not failure, okay? Let's go tomorrow. Let's keep going. You know what I mean? Let's get better. Let's keep moving. That's not failure. One of the best ways to cultivate discipline is to set clear goals, achievable goals, break them down into manageable tasks, create a plan, and stick to it, okay? Hold yourself accountable and do not rely on motivation to get you through it. Because once again, that's a luxury. Instead, rely on your commitment to the process. You have to be committed to whatever process you are in. You have to be committed. So just continue to hold yourself accountable to that process, okay? Celebrate. It is so important. I will never stress this enough to celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins. It is going to get you through. Trust me, it is so important for you to be able to pat yourself on the back and appreciate those wins. That's what's going to keep you going and knowing that it's working. Having that feeling in your head or that question in your head, is it working? Am I doing anything? Having those moments where you don't skip the celebration will keep you going a little bit, right? Once again, motivation's not bad. It's just not something that we can rely on a daily basis. But celebrating those small wins definitely helps with motivation, right? When you see yourself winning and you see yourself moving on and oh, it's working, I'm doing something, I did a task today, you just feel so much better. So celebrate those wins. Do not pass over that step because it is super important to last. One thing, my last tip for you guys today is going to be your environment. Make sure to surround yourself around the right environment. This is such an important step because I feel like you have to create a space for support for you in your goals, right? Surround yourself around people who will cheer for you. When motivation is not there, okay, people cheering for you will help. People going, yes, girl, you can do this. Having their encouragement, having their support, having their clap for you. To me anyway, it means the world to have those type of people. And you may have to go find your people. You may have to go find your group. And that's okay. But I do think it is so important because when you don't feel motivated, sometimes all it is a phone call away. Hey, girl, I'm not feeling it today. And being able to be vulnerable and honest with your friends or whoever it is, and having them to be able to give you a little pep talk if needed, tell you got this if needed. When motivation is not there, and you're relying on discipline, and you're relying on, hey, like, I'm trying to get this done, I'm trying to do this, like, it is gonna make all the difference if you have the right support around you. Do not go tell your dreams to that friend who all she does is beat them down, okay? Do not go tell that dream. Don't tell your dreams to the dream chasers, and I mean, not the dream chasers, the dream killers. There we go. Do not tell your dreams to them. And you know who they are, who's in your circle, who be killing dreams. You know who they are. You know the people that's in their little box and will never leave it. Do not go tell your dreams to them, because they will not help you. They won't serve you. They won't make you feel better. They're not going to be able to motivate you. They're going to be like, girl, I told you. Girl, I told you. You need to go get you. I told you. You need to go do this. Like, right? No, that's not what you need to hear. What you need to hear is the road is rocky, but you got this. I heard a really good quote today. I'm trying to remember it correctly, but it was something along the lines of, the hardest hills have the best views. The hardest hills to climb have the best views, or something like that. And it was like a hiking metaphor, but it was so true. If you can climb up this mountain, like, it is hard, it's rocky, it sucks. Okay, and I can attest to that. It sucks. But if you can climb up this mountain and get to that mountaintop, it has the best view. It's so beautiful. You're gonna appreciate it. You're gonna be happy. Like, you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say happy because I think that's so relative. But if you can get to that mountaintop and see the view from there, right? Like, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. And just being able to have some people who can pep talk you, who can say, you got this, who can say, not the friend that's going to be like, girl, you better just go back down the mountain. Like, just go, turn around. Like, you don't need that. You need the person who's going to say, you can do this, no matter how hard it is. No matter how hard you gotta, if you gotta cry right now, cry. If you need to sit right now, sit. If you need to stay right now, stay for a second. Give yourself a quick break if you need to. You know what I mean? Don't think for a second. Take a day not to use your brain. Whatever it is, right? Having that person in your corner to allow you the space, the safe space you need to feel how you feel, but then get back up again, right? So it is so important. So anyway, I guess my last thing for you guys is, when motivation fades, let discipline take over, okay? That is going to be the thing that gets you to your goal. So please excuse my audio. I know it's not the best audio right now. I do plan on buying a mic very soon, most likely this week. So hopefully my audio gets better. But anyway, if this video was helpful to you guys, please let me know if you have any questions at all. Please feel free to comment down below, and I would love to answer your questions. Anywho, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.